The Recruitment Games. How to be the last man standing in the world of AI. This audiobook is written by Plamen Ivanoff, Executive Chairman and co-founder of iIntro, and narrated by James O'Brien, Managing Director of iIntro and host of the Retained Recruiter Show. Chapter 1. The Recruitment Games.
Imagine this. The recruiters gather in a wide circle. Each one is trained, experienced, and hungry for success, but they each know the truth. Once the battle begins, only one recruiter will survive to the end and receive the ultimate prize: payment for their work. Sometimes contingency recruitment seems less like a viable business model and more like a brutal fight for survival. No matter how many times I say it, the reality never seems to make any sense. Winning a contingency recruitment fee doesn't result in riches and glory. In the best case scenario, if your candidate is the one placed, you receive only that which you should have received in the first place. Recruitment owners feel this pain because they see, time and again, even their best contestants putting in a great effort, only to receive nothing in return. Recruitment consultants and solopreneurs feel the pain because for every victory dance around their desk, there are a handful of frustrating defeats. But who has time to dwell on the harsh realities of the recruitment games when there are bills to pay and another battle is about to commence? Wrong question. It's not about whether or not you have the time. For something this important, you must make the time. The question is, how do you turn your winning ratio to 100%? How do you ensure that you're always the last man standing? In the immortal words of Joshua in the classic movie War Games, the only winning move is not to play.
Chapter 2. The Death of Contingency Recruitment.
History is full of examples of once popular technologies that now look embarrassingly quaint. A to Z roadmaps, movie rental stores, fax machines, directory inquiries, floppy disks, and even Wayne Rooney. It wasn't so long ago that these things were commonplace, even seen as cutting edge. But progress has no conscience. Times change, technologies change, business practices change, and if you don't change with it, how long before you're the next Kodak, or BlackBerry, or Blockbuster? Here's the question that recruiters are too afraid to ask. And when this inevitable death takes place, what happens to your recruitment firm? What happens to your career as a recruiter? How long before contingency recruitment is the next to make the obituaries?
Chapter 3. Contingency Recruitment Will Die. It's inevitable.
Are you still burying your head in the sand? Are you still convinced that as long as you complete contingency assignments just a little bit better than everyone else, you'll be fine? Wake up. Contingency recruitment as a business model is doomed. Deep down, you know this is true. History has shown us, time and time again, that when a business model is flawed, it's eventually replaced by something better. And there are few business models more flawed than contingency recruitment. Do employers really benefit from half a dozen recruiters racing each other to fill a position in a contest that prizes speed over accuracy? Do candidates really benefit when they're rushed into a new role only to discover that they're not a good fit? Do recruiters really experience job satisfaction when they don't have time to complete a thorough candidate search and selection process? Do recruitment business owners really enjoy watching their recruitment consultants working harder and longer for ever decreasing fees, fully aware that much of the effort will not result in any payment? Broken business models always die. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Contingency recruitment is a broken business model.
Chapter 4. The Early Bird Keeps His Job.
Here's a tip that you probably already know. When a business model dies, the survivors are those that made adjustments before its demise, not after the crash, and not right at the last minute, when the writing is on the wall and even the most blinkered executive has to accept reality. The survivors are the ones that act early and act decisively. And the good news is that there's still time to act. Over the next few chapters, I'm going to share with you a story. A true story. It's a story of a typical recruitment firm that decided to reject the broken contingency recruitment philosophy that the industry had been peddling for years and replace it with something more effective. Please listen to it with an open mind. And as you listen, please don't miss the most important truth that lies within. Everything in this story can be easily replicated by your recruitment firm.
Chapter 5. 100% Retained. It's just a joke, right?
Something had to change. The recruitment industry was tied up in a battle for faster and cheaper recruitment, and it was the employers and employees who were suffering from an industry that was providing, at best, a recruitment service that was well below average. Yet when I told my recruitment consultants that the firm was going to move from 100% contingency-based recruitment to 100% retained recruitment in just 12 months, some of them thought it was a joke, or maybe just wishful thinking. Not only did this modest recruitment firm, with just a handful of consultants, move to a fully retained business model. In the process, we increased fees by 87%, set an average fee of £27,500, and attained an average agreement of 25% of candidate salary. In fact, by the end of the process, every consultant in our firm had personally increased their fees. The culmination of their efforts was realized when our firm won an award for Best Executive Search Firm against significantly larger and more illustrious competition. What was the process that enabled us to make this paradigm shift? It's simpler than you think. In fact, it took just 6 steps. Was such a quantum shift really possible in such a short period of time? The answer, as it turned out, was no. It took us 18 months, starting with
Chapter 6, Step 1, Create a True USP.
gather a dozen recruiters and ask them to state their USP, and you'll likely hear a tired recitation of recruitment's greatest hits. Biggest database, speed of delivery, in-depth industry knowledge, competitive rates. Little help to the employer who has to pick a winner from a group of recruiters all promising similar or even identical services. Our forward-thinking firm, who for now we'll refer to as GG, set out to create a genuinely unique USP that would set us apart and above the competition. To this end, we developed an online candidate delivery system that presented the shortlist in an attractive online format. While other recruiters were still emailing batches of CVs, GG had something truly unique to show to our prospective clients. Suddenly, winning retained assignments, even against substantial competition, was becoming easier and easier. Our USP was a true USP, and frankly, it made other recruitment firms look a little dated.
Chapter 7, Step 2, Offer extraordinary value.
The online candidate delivery system was innovative, but it needed to be more than just window dressing. To offer clients extraordinary value and to persuade them to the point where they were willing to hire us on a retained basis, the system needed substance. Behavioral assessment and key competency assessment became an integral part of the process. These elements helped to remove subjectivity from the process and enabled decision-making that was more scientific and objective. This all combined to provide our clients with greater depth of information about each candidate, and by asking the candidates to put some personal effort into the process, it demonstrated their commitment and interest in the role. Perhaps more importantly, we took the time to take a proper brief from the employer, something that the contingency recruitment model never really gave us the breathing room to carry out. As a result, our shortlist was more precise, and in the eyes of our clients, far more impressive than that which they were accustomed to. What happens when you deliver to a client a value-added service that other recruiters don't? You get the next assignment, and the next one, and the one after that.
Chapter 8, Step 3, Embrace technology.
Every innovation needs a beacon, a single feature that captures people's attention and ensures the product sticks in the memory. For GG, it was the video introductions. Every candidate who made the shortlist was asked to produce a 2 to 3 minute video in which they introduced themselves and talked a little about their experience and what they could bring to the role. Naturally, some candidates perform better at this task than others, but for the client, simply being able to visually see and hear from every candidate had a powerful effect on their opinion of the process. Clients were used to trying to get a feel for each candidate based on a densely worded CV and some feedback from the recruiter. Yet now, they could quickly get an overview and a feel for the character of every candidate, even before they met at an interview. Video introductions were just one part of a comprehensive service, but in terms of their effect on people's regard for this new system, they quickly became the crown jewel of the product. When a potential client interviewed a series of recruiters and asked us what made us different, we simply showed them our online platform, showcasing the video introductions, the key competency questionnaires, and the behavioral assessment. Oftentimes, this was enough to win the pitch, right then and there.
Chapter 9, Step 4, Save time and money.
Every business person is enamored with the prospect of saving time and money. GG were able to demonstrate this in a measurable way through the use of benchmarking, in which the candidates' relative abilities were compared in graph form, and executive summaries, in which the recruiter provided a brief summary of each candidate on the shortlist. The net result is that the employer was able to figure out, even at the shortlist stage, which candidates were most likely to be a good fit for the role. Instead of having to physically interview every candidate of a shortlist of perhaps 6 to 8 people, they could select the 3 or 4 that they could see were the closest fit for their requirements. From this point, the time and money saved in not interviewing unsuitable candidates was easily measurable, and the value to the client was clear for all to see. A collateral benefit was that we also avoided unnecessarily sending candidates to interview. We were streamlining the process for everyone concerned, and this created an unexpected but very welcome effect.
Chapter 10, Step 5, Social Proof.
An unexpected benefit of this system that was becoming a firm favourite of everyone who experienced it, including the consultants and the candidates, was an outstanding statistic. Of all the candidates placed using this system, 96% were still in position after 12 months. Whether this was the effect of using behavioural assessment to measure the candidate's aptitude for the role, the act of committing the candidates to the process through their contribution, or a combination of factors, it couldn't be denied that something special was taking place. Dismissing an unsuitable candidate and restarting the recruitment process is expensive and messy, so this 96% figure became a powerful piece of evidence to convince employers of the value of retaining the firm. Social proof, this demonstration that other employers were enjoying highly successful recruitment campaigns, became a powerful selling point. If showcasing our online platform wasn't enough to win over a prospective client, demonstrating the accuracy of our placements usually sealed the deal.
Chapter 11, Step 6, Unbeatable Guarantees.
With the knowledge that 96% of candidates were remaining in position for a minimum of 12 months, this naturally lent itself to the creation of powerful guarantees. Depending on the seniority of the role, we were able to offer our clients a money-back guarantee of up to 3 months and a free replacement policy of up to an incredible 12 months. More recently, this guarantee was advanced even further, offering an industry-leading replacement offer of 2 full years. This makes perfect business sense when you consider that our 24-month retention rate is holding steady at 93%. Can you visualize how much easier it is to win new business, even when competing against larger and older firms, when you can offer the kind of guarantees that other recruiters cannot come close to matching? This final piece of the puzzle cemented the firm's position as a retained recruiter. By showing clients the comprehensive nature of the process, the level of effort that went into every campaign, the reassuring high-level guarantees, and the unique technologically advanced system, it became easy to justify the need to hire the firm on a retained rather than a contingency basis, not to mention the need for a fee that was considerably above the industry average. The firm's transition from transactional contingency-based to a consultative retained recruiter was complete, and the days of competing with a dozen other firms for a single role, not to mention wrestling with our cash flow, were now well and truly in the past.
Chapter 12, Now It's Your Turn.
After steering GG to a fully retained recruitment firm, using this revolutionary online system that we dubbed iIntro, we decided to open up the platform to other recruitment firms. It was quickly proved that this initial case study was far from a fluke. The first and second wave of iIntro clients experienced similar benefits in terms of winning new business and retained assignments. Mike Walmsley, chairman of Parker Bridge Asia, said this: "I've been using iIntro as part of the second coming of Parker Bridge in Asia. iIntro is extremely powerful to win and fulfill retained assignments, but the really exciting thing for us is how we've used iIntro as a differentiator to sidestep the gatekeepers and go directly to the top of big businesses." Richard McGawley, director of ASL Search, said this: "We won our first retained assignment using iIntro just weeks after we took the service on. It literally took 30 minutes to do. Also, it was all done on the phone and online with a client that we have never done business with before." Chris Dickinson, managing director of Advocate Group, said this: "A client based in New York found our iIntro site through an internet search and subsequently agreed a retainer for 4 roles at 28%. While the original recruiters behind the iIntro system spent considerable time, effort, and money to develop the system, there is no need for you to engage in the same lengthy and expensive process." iIntro marries cutting-edge technology and advanced methodology to provide a complete push-button system that any recruitment firm can use to aid their transition to retained recruitment. Designed by recruiters for recruiters, iIntro provides everything you need to help you take a giant step ahead of the competition. Whether you're an individual outfit or an international firm with hundreds of consultants, the system can be easily adapted to suit your needs. For a free online demonstration of iIntro, or to discuss how to get started integrating iIntro into your recruitment firm, please go to www.i-intro.com and book a discovery call or enjoy our complimentary 5-part masterclass.
About the author, Plamen Ivanoff is the chairman and co-founder of iIntro and executive chairman of Grass Greener Global, an international executive search and recruitment business. Over the past 2 decades, he has worked closely with recruitment firms across the UK, Europe, and North America, helping them rethink how they deliver value to clients in an increasingly competitive and technology-driven market. His work focuses on one central idea: that recruitment, when structured correctly, can move beyond candidate supply and become a critical part of how organizations make better hiring decisions. Through iIntro, Plamen has supported recruitment business owners in transitioning from traditional contingency models to more consultative, outcome-focused approaches, including retained and managed service engagements. This shift has enabled those businesses to improve the quality and retention of their hires, build stronger, longer-term client relationships, and increase commercial predictability and control. His thinking challenges long-held assumptions within the industry, particularly the belief that speed and volume define success. Instead, his work advocates for a more structured, data-informed, and accountable approach to recruitment, one that aligns more closely with the expectations of modern employers. This audiobook is part of that ongoing challenge. Visit www.i-intro.com for further information, including other ebooks such as The Death of Contingency, It's Finally Happening, authored by Plamen Ivanoff. Copyright. This audiobook and its associated ebook are published by iIntro. Copyright 2026 by Insight Out Solutions Limited. All rights reserved. No part of this book or audiobook or its associated materials may be reproduced or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic or mechanical, including photocopying, recording, or by any other information store or retrieval system without express written permission from the publisher. iIntro is a trading name of Insight Out Solutions Limited, a company registered in England and Wales. Registered number 9276074.